Hello there and a warm welcome to SuperScreen News at 6, broadcasting to you live from Lagos. I am Adenike Owoye Ajiboye. President Muhammadu Buhari has assured the United Nations UN of his commitment to conducting a free and fair elections in 2019. President Buhari gave the assurance when the UN Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed met him in Abuja. Mohammed undertook a two-day visit to Nigeria from March 23rd to 25th, where she met with the president in Abuja and interacted with other senior officials and stakeholders in Lagos State. The President and the Deputy Secretary General discussed four main issues, which are the 2019 general elections, deportation of Cameroonian asylum seekers, the African Continent Free Trade Agreement, and the humanitarian and security challenges in the Northeast. The Senate has begun a fresh move to amend the Electoral Act 2010, and a new bill on the amendment is to be presented and passed for first reading today. You will recall that the House of Representatives had reintroduced the bill last week. The first version of the bill, which was introduced in the House of Representatives, had been passed by the National Assembly, but vetoed by President Muhammadu Buhari. The bill had sought to reorder the sequence of polls during general elections, which generated controversy over the allegation that it was targeted at President Buhari in the 2019 elections. A federal high court sitting in Abuja has fixed April 25 for judgment in the suit filed by a court party, AP. The suit is challenging the legitimacy of the National Assembly to reorder the schedule of the 2019 general elections released by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Justice Mohammed gave the date after entertaining arguments from parties on whether or not the National Assembly possessed the powers to alter the schedule of elections released by INEC or interfere with the constitutionally body to fix dates for and organize elections. The National Assembly, represented by Joseph Daudu's son, urged the court to decline jurisdiction and dismiss the suit. The plaintiff, represented by Wole Olanipekun San, Attorney General of the Federation AGF Abubakar Malami's son, and INEC, represented by Femi Falana, urged the court to grant the plaintiffs reliefs. In another development, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has released the details of the recall process for the senator representing Kogi West Senatorial District, Dino Malahi. According to the new schedule released on Monday and signed by the Electoral Commission Secretary Augusta Ogaku, INEC is expected to give the notice of recall as stipulated by law on March 27, 2018, while the verification exercise will hold on April 28, 2018. The outcome of the verification will be released the following day, which is April 29, 2018. INEC is acting on the judgment of the Court of Appeal in Abuja, which asked the Commission to go ahead with the process earlier this month. The National Executive Council (NEC) of the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) will take a position on the controversial issue of a tenure extension for the National Working Committee led by John Oyegun. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, disclosed this to journalists after a meeting of the party's national caucus held at the presidential villa, Abuja. Dogara said the caucus meeting was held to prepare agenda for the next meeting, confirming that the controversial tenure extension issue was on the agenda. In the same vein, the leadership of the Congress of Northern Nigeria Christian CNNC in Kaduna has urged President Muhammadu Buhari to do all within his power to rescue Lee Sharibu, the only Christian girl yet to be released by Boko Haram after the schoolgirl's abduction. You will recall that Lee was among the 111 female students of a government girls' science and technical college, Dapchi, Yobe State, abducted by Boko Haram from the school on February 19. While all the girls have been released by the sect and reunited with their parents, Lee is still being held because she refused to renounce her faith, Christianity. The CNNC, who disclosed this to journalists at the Nigeria Union of Journalists Secretariat in Kaduna, also noted with concern that the abduction of Dapchi schoolgirls after the Chibok saga demanded freedom for all kidnapped girls. And 5 people have been killed in fresh attacks by herdsmen in different locations of Benue State. 4 persons were reportedly killed by herdsmen at the Guma and Agatu local government areas of the state, while 1 herdsman was reportedly killed at Lower Benue, a suburb of Makadi. The incident in the Agatu local government area was said to have happened at Olegbu Bildo, where 2 persons were said to have been killed, with one of the victims beheaded. The Commissioner of Police in the state, Fatai Owushini, confirmed the killings during a meeting with the leaders of the Muyeti Ala Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria. Members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, AIMN, have taken their protest to the National Assembly in Abuja, demanding the release of the leader, Ibrahim Sheikh El-Zakzaki. Spokesperson of the group, Ibrahim Abdullahi, told journalists that they will not relent in their protest until its leader, El-Zakzaki, is released, maintaining that the Shiite group has conducted itself in the most responsible and cautious manner. Speaking on the country's insecurity, Abdullahi accused President Muhammadu Buhari of playing politics with the lives of Nigerians for his selfish interest, citing the abduction of Dapchi girls in Yobe State as example.
Coming to Zaria massacre, December 2015, Nigerian army comes out with their full forces and go to Zaria. They brought some people in a Sienna bus and dropped them at Husseiniya Bakiyatullah, and the people blocked the road of the Chief of Army Staff. Please, does this tyrant, President Buhari, belong to everybody in this country? No. Does President Muhammad Buhari belong to everybody in this country? No. Yes. Does he belong to everybody? No. Does he provide the maximum security of the country? No. What happens? He ends up kidnapping innocent girls.
Their leader, El-Zakzaki, you will recall, has been in custody for over 2 years now. And moving away from that, the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Uche Secondus, has apologized to Nigerians for what he described as mistakes made while the party was in power prior to the 2015 general elections. Given a keynote speech at an event in Abuja tagged Nation Building, resetting the agenda, he admitted that although the party did its best while in government, it was not void of mistakes. According to Secondus, the ability to admit one's mistakes is key to moving forward, especially as the party has learned from their mistakes. The national chairman therefore appealed to Nigerians to put all the party's wrongs behind and support it in the coming general elections. The Rivers State Police Command says it has recovered some illegal weapons, firearms, and ammunition from unauthorized persons in the state. This is in line with the directive of the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, to all commissioners of police and the 12 zonal commands. The report.
Speaking with journalists at the River State Police Command headquarters in Port Harcourt, State Commissioner of Police Zaki Ahmed said an 8-man special task force set up to enforce the directive of the Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris has recovered some firearms and weapons in just 1 week of operation. Zaki also highlights the command's achievement in the last 1 month, which included raid of a baby factory where 4 pregnant girls were rescued.
The task force has, in 1 week of its operation, recovered the following arms and ammunition. They are 12 AK-47 rifles, 30 locally made pistols, 35 single-barrel guns, 4 double-barrel guns, 3 pump-action, 3 Beretta guns, 1 FNC rifle, 4 long assault rifles, 5 magazines, and 60 cartridges. Number of suspects arrested, 25. That is for armed robbery. Number of cultists arrested, 6. Number of kidnappers arrested, 9. Number of locally made pistols are recovered, 55. Number of English made pistols recovered, 4. Number of victims rescued, 6. Number of armed robbery foiled, 5. Number of kidnapping foiled, 4.
Some of the suspects arrested confessed to committing the crimes they were brought in for.
This guy they see like this, wife. So I did ask all these things, so they answer. So when I do finish, you get one guy will come out, open motor say, oh boy, then I can't enter. Guy drive. You get one boy in the car, man drive. That way they call down say we keep it out of the house. So when we reach there, Dan say the people in the house. So that place will then give me bad. Saying go like make this there with business then car there. So we can
short time 2 months ago, she said that he is pregnant. So as they decide to do it, it's both of them, it's their agreement. And they have already found the woman who wanted to hand the baby over. My work is just to take care of her, deliver her because I'm a midwife. I deliver her. If the woman came and said to me, they will now pay me my accommodation and food and the treatment. That is why I'm here.
The Commissioner of Police said the war against crime will continue in the state, even as he appealed to those who were yet to comply with the directive of the Inspector General to do so before the deadline.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has confiscated expired drugs worth 5 million naira from a drug dealer in Ariaria Market in Aba, Abia State. The state coordinator of NAFDAC, Olise Okeke, who disclosed this to journalists, said the agency got information that the dealer was used to stocking expired drugs, changing the expiry dates and selling them to unsuspecting members of the public. The coordinator also said NAFDAC officers investigated the shop, swapped on it and successfully confiscated many common drugs with March 2017 expiry date and awaiting revalidation. Okeke said that the dealer ran away but gave the assurance that NAFDAC would do its best to ensure his arrest and prosecution. The Nigeria Customs Service NCS has arrested 4 suspects in Sokoto for allegedly smuggling 589 bags of imported rice concealed in a petrol tanker. The controller of NCS in Sokoto, Kebbi and Zamfara Command, Nasiru Ahmed, who disclosed this to journalists, said the smuggled items, which were intercepted on Sunday along Koko Yari Road in Kebbi State, had 11.1 million naira duty paid value. Ahmed also said when the bags of rice were removed from the petrol tank, they have been contaminated by black oil, which is dangerous to human health. The controller advised smugglers to find alternative legal means of livelihood and stop undermining the nation's economy. He appealed to the people, especially those residing in border communities, to assist officials of the command with relevant information to track down smugglers. The federal government has earmarked the sum of 13 billion naira for housing projects in the 2018 budget. A Minister of Public Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, stated this at the conclusion of the budget defense for the housing sector at the floor of the Senate. According to the minister, the 13 billion naira is to be injected into completion of housing projects across the country, out of which 10 billion naira will be used to expand on the completion of building projects.
The 36 billion is the inherited liabilities pre-2015 from 1999 backwards. That's the liabilities that we inherited as it relates to those constituency and intervention and MDG projects. Now, the 13 billion that we propose for this year is to spend only 3 billion on any new projects and use 10 billion to complete some of these projects and begin to partly wind down that 36 billion. Because some of them have left site, now that they see that government is committing funding by budget, some of them have popped up again. And we are saying, go and finish. We'll pay you. So that's our plan.
Leader of the Senate Committee on Housing, Barnabas Jemade, expressed delight at the transparent and prompt conclusion of the budget defense and equally called on other ministries to follow suit.
The report as we see it today, I know that many of them have been working weekend hours into the night to make sure that they produce what we have here today.
I'd like to emphasize more on the need for this national housing scheme. The reason being that I am aware that there are so many players in the real estate sector of the economy, private developers, all manners of people are involved, PPP with some state governments, and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, what is most important is the affordability of the houses that these schemes turn out. And most of them are driven by profit-making motives, and people have heavier reliance on what the federal government can do for the citizens in terms of social responsibility.
Well, Senators speaking there. Now we'll take a short break, and when we return, we bring you business news this day.
I'm here to talk to you about the Infinity Card. The Infinity Card is a preloaded card that provides safer, easier, and faster financial services. Because it's not linked to any bank account, it eradicates the risks of exposure to your bank accounts. With it, you can plan your giving and expenses while staying within your budget. The Infinity Card works perfectly well for online transactions. With the self-service reloadable plan, it helps you diversify and distribute with no stress. It can be used to make withdrawal on any ATM nationwide. It offers a safe and secure alternative to handling bulky cash, since it's acceptable at any point of sale. Concerned about security? We've got you covered. Apart from eliminating the risks of exposure to your bank accounts, the Infinity Card is secure as an entity. Don't go another day without it.
For more information, visit www.myinfinitycard.com or call 0908-248-0591. The Infinity Card is also available at face value and loadable at any quick teller-enabled ATM across the country.
Well, many thanks to stay with us now in business news. Latest data released by the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, show Nigeria earned 3.738 trillion naira from the export of crude oil and petroleum products in 3 months from October to December 2018. The MBS in its foreign trade statistics for the fourth quarter of 2018 showed the petroleum product exports accounted for 95.58% of Nigeria's total exports in the period under review. Given a breakdown of petroleum products export, the report showed the crude oil export stood at 3.255 trillion naira, representing 83.22% of the sector's total export. Liquefied natural gas (LNG) export stood at 416.588 billion naira. Other petroleum gases exports stood at 28.42 billion naira. The federal government has commenced negotiations with all service providers on the Treasury single account in a bid to reduce the cost of running the policy. The Accountant General of the Federation, Hamid Idris, who discussed this to journalists in Abuja, said though the TSA had saved the government about 40 billion naira monthly that was being paid as bank charges, the government was still seeking ways of cutting costs. Idris had earlier appeared before an audit committee of the House of Representatives which was investigating the operations of the Treasury single account. The federal government says aviation security personnel of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria (FAN) will soon be licensed to carry arms at airports across the country. The Minister of State for Aviation, Hadi Sirika, who disclosed this to journalists at the 2018 Have-Sec retreat, said discussions on the initiative were being finalized for approval. The minister, who was represented at the retreat by Director, Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, Zaria, Captain Mohammed Abdulsalami, said arming AVSEC officials would ensure proper policing of the airports. Sirika said the move would further strengthen the integrity of the airports in view of the growing threats to the aviation industry. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences (ICPC) has completed investigations into the suspended Director General of the Security and Exchange Commission (SEC), Mon Grozo. ICPC spokesperson Rashidat Okodowa, who discussed this, said Guazo's case file had been forwarded to the legal department